get that out of the way. Yo, what's going on YouTube? And in today's video, I want to talk about a card coming in OP010 that's going to be super good. And that card is Shambles. No, but it's called Chambers. But if you plan on playing, sorry, I'm going to keep saying red green, but I actually mean yellow green. If you're going to be playing yellow green law, this is a really good card to add to your yellow green law deck because it allows you to preemptively shambles before using leader ability, which is actually really good for recalling your characters and being able to do crazy like plays. So I'm going to give you an example of a crazy turn one. So let's just say that turn one you got one Don, you're the first player obviously. One Don, tap, play a Bonnie. Alright, your opponent goes. They do some opponent-like things. And we're going to say that your hand is just, just these two cards, right? So it is now your turn again. You get two Don, and you get to draw a card. Now, let's use Bonnie's ability for one Don, and search top 5, 4, 5, and we'll get a blocker law. If we had anything else, we grab something else like a Cavendish. We obviously grab a Cavendish, and then we'll get that to hand. Now we have another one Don. We'll go ahead and tap one Don to play our Shambles card. Shambles is going to bounce our Jewelry Bonnie and go ahead and play our Caramel from hand. Caramel's on play will now activate, allowing us to draw one card, replacing Caramel herself with Caramel. Now, if you would like to have a bit of better board presence for your next turn, you can go ahead and play the Jewelry Bonnie back down. But if you just so happen to have a 3-cost Jewelry Bonnie, you can play the 3-cost Jewelry Bonnie on your next turn, and that will be enough for leader skill and possibly something else, a Bonnie search. So see how your hand size really just didn't change? You still pretty much have that same hand. So you can play the Bonnie back down. Once you play the Bonnie back down, you'll have a total cost of 3. If these two bodies stick, you'll draw for turn. There's the Cavendish. And of course, with the new cards and the new support, the strategy will be a lot better, a lot more obviously valuable because you'll have the 1-drop Luffy Searcher, so you'll be able to play cards like that. Like I said, you have the Jewelry Bonnie. You have other yellow cards you can play aside from Caramel that will also plus you cards in the hand. With that, we can go into later Dawn turns where we've got like a Cavendish, and let's just say that we have a Jewelry Bonnie in the hand, and it could be the 1-cost Capone Badge. We'll pretend here that this is the yellow Capone Badge. All right. So if this is the yellow Capone Badge and it is our turn, we are going to go tap 2 for the Jewelry Bonnie, which is going to go ahead and this can be at the 7 Don turn mark. You could do this. Actually, no, it'd be like more like the 8 Don turn mark. You can do this. You can do this in earlier Don turns as well. But let's just, for example purposes, say that you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 Don, and you tapped 1 to play the Bonnie. You tapped another one to search the Bonnie. Let's just say that you got the 9-cost law in hand. Let's just pretend that this is 9-cost. Alright. Or 7-cost, I'm sorry. Those go to the bottom. You got 7-cost in hand. You swing with Cavendish. You restand those 2 that you just used. You go ahead and you go, this is the 1-drop yellow. So you go Shambles, bounce the Cavendish back to your hand to play the 1-drop from your hand to go ahead and take your top life and then swap that out with the Cavendish. After swapping it out with the Cavendish, you can go ahead and play your 7-drop. Or you could just, you could play 7-drop. you can add to life, or you could probably play the 7-drop first to add to life, just to heal twice. So yeah, that's what you would do. You would actually play the 7-drop first, so that you would heal, and then you would bounce for Cavendish to put Cavendish at the top. So that way you're now at 2 life. Then from there, we would go ahead and use Leader Skill to bounce our reoccurring 2 Dawn, use Search, to go ahead and play back out the Cavendish. The Cavendish is now active. So let's see, if we would have done it with the 7 cost first, it would have been like this. We'd have healed 1, we'd have swung with Cavendish, we'd have restood 2, then we would have held on onto our leader, and we would have shambled that out to play the 2K to put the Cavendish back into life by taking the life we just put in there to replace it with the Cavendish. Then we would play the Cavendish off of life, and this is assuming that we have more life, not that we're just down to no life, because obviously we wouldn't do this with no blockers. If we have blockers, then we just go ahead and play like 1-drop blockers to go ahead and defend ourselves going forward. But at any rate, play the Cavendish. You now get another 2 Dawn restood. So now you're at 4 Dawn active. You can do a lot with 4 Dawn active, and your leader already has 1. And you restood the, like I said, you restood the Cavendish. You've got the big guy coming in for a swing. If you do play this kid, then you can have this kid rested. If you play the Capone Beige blockers, you also play the other Scratchman blockers. You can use those small chunk blockers to go ahead and defend this board. So that way when they swing at this, you can just get rid of 2 chunk blockers to go ahead and take 2 attacks. And then if they try and swing it again, you can discard a 2K if you have a 2K or whatever it is you may need to discard, or use another blocker to block it, but you know, keep it alive and not keep it alive. But again, having 4 Dawn left over to play means if you do play like Rush Zoro, the yellow Rush Zoro, you can just go ahead and tap 3, play the Rush Yellow Zoro, swing 6, and put it on, swing 6 again. So if you have the Supernova event, you can, if you choose to play that, you can tap 4, look at your opponent's top, and KO I believe it's cost 5 or lower. Still really good for board control and searchable too. Like I said, it's good for board control. Like I said, 4 extra Dawn is crazy, like, to have gained in a turn with this combo. Just to let you know, just how nutty that the card Shambles is, and the lines of play it just opens up for you. You can hit a Shambles out of life, and if you do have a yellow in hand, or you do have, like I say, a Cavendish or something. I mean, obviously, if you have a Cavendish on board, they're not going for your life. But like I say, for example, if you do have something on board that you want to swap out, like I say, you got like a 1-drop blocker, you got a Shambles, or a 1-drop searcher, you got a Shambles out of life. You can activate the Shambles, return the 1-drop to play the Jewelry Bonnie, and same with vice versa. Like if you have a green on board and you have a searcher 1-drop, you can swap that out in battle for whatever. Like I say, if you have a blocker and another Supernova on board, then you just created the situation of making the 1-drop blocker live, so it becomes an instant protection. Like, just a lot of things that the card just does for the deck. It gives the deck versatility and allows the deck just a little bit more wiggle room to do just a little bit more crazy plays. Like I said, I've been experimenting with it on the sim, and on the sim, it is definitely doing work. It is definitely something that I am 100% going to play 4 of in my law build, and I just want to share that little tidbit with everybody. A little bit of strategy, just a little bit of like technicality to the deck. Like, it is very much like the old law, and the fact that it does cost makes doing things a lot more comfortable. Though one of the issues with previous law is just like you just didn't feel as comfortable playing out your creatures because you needed to build a board to be able to use Shambles ability. But now that you don't need to build a board to be able to use Shambles ability, it's like anything goes. I don't have a complete list to show you guys, but like I say, once it comes out, I definitely will be going over a deck list with you guys. I definitely will be running mine like the previous law, with all the like little chunk blockers and the Rush Zoro and the Bouncer Rush Zoro to swing again. Especially since it's more cost based and that's more possible to do, viable to do, or whatever the word is you want to use. I don't know. Especially like I say, with crazy plays that you can do with this. Like I'm just gonna give you some more nutty ones. I'm just thinking about this one off top. Like you can throw down a Cavendish at 5 Don. Like you can throw down a Cavendish, and this is just how meant for the deck, or meant for the deck the card is. And this again just goes with you having a Capone badge, or even if you don't have a Capone badge, you can have a Hiyori. Like, and it just still works the same. So even if you just don't have a Capone badge in your hand and you've got a Hiyori in your hand, same strategy. So you just play Cavendish for 5 Don, and then you get to restand 2. You get to put a Don onto lead. I'll have a law leader, but we'll just say that this is our law leader for now. You'll put a Don onto lead. You go ahead and activate your Shambles to bounce the Cavendish to play the Hiyori. And let's see, let's just say that we're at 3 life. We'll take a life to put back a Cavendish. We now have enough for leader skill. So now we can go ahead and use leader skill, check the top, play the Cavendish, restand 2, and then we could swing 6 with lead, and then if we wanted to, we could swing 6. We can swing higher if we wanted to, but like I said, if in this example we just so happen to get the caramel or any kind of searcher off of the top, we just go ahead and drop that as a body immediately and draw 1. And keep in mind we have Shambles, so we can always just Shambles our 2Ks back to our hand for green characters or green cards that we want to play, such as, like I say, Juri Bani or the Capone badge. And like I said, I do recommend that you play the deck more in the old school law-esque way with playing the small chunk blockers. So I will be playing both the Scratchman blocker and the Capone badge blocker because they're just really good in the deck. They pretty much, like I say, act as the same utility as they did in the other law deck. Like if you think about playing 4 Capone beige blocker for the other Capone or Scratchman blocker, that is the equivalent of in the previous law of you playing 4 Tony Chopper and 4 Capone beige. If you just want to think of it like that, except for this one has counter, so it has a little bit more versatility. And if you want to add in, like I say, blocker law to that whole mix, and you want to add in the Rush Zoro to that whole mix with the restand law and the Shambles that you'll have access to. And keep in mind, like I said, I'm just gonna go over a couple more plays. I just keep thinking of these off rip. So let's just say like you have a Rush Zoro. We'll find something that's a Rush Zoro. Let's say that this is our Rush Zoro. All right, you got yellow Rush Zoro, and you got a Cavendish that you can set up. You know what I mean? And the Cavendish is so insanely strong. Like get the Cavendishes now. Get them all. Get every Cavendish you can ASAP. Because this is such a nutty play that you can just you can, if you got the Zoro and you done played the Cavendish, you can go ahead and bounce the Zoro to play out something else, probably a searcher, something that net you positive or something. There's nothing in green you can play that's gonna like immediately gain you a positive, anything. So you just get it like a searcher, and you can just play the Jewelry Bounty Searcher or play the Chunk Block or whatever little green card that you have that you play. You just play the little green. Yuri Stand. I don't know what I'm finna do here, man. I just have to have it in front of me. Just the point is that the card is insane. The card is insane. The card is good. Definitely should be running it in law. Like I said, it just allows you to do too much. And when I seen what green purple Luffy was doing, that's what sparked the idea for this, and just abusing the hell out of your Cavendish so you can just create massive board advantage while also having hand advantage as well. Because you'll just be constantly looping, like in the previous law, you just be constantly looping the cards that you have on field to your hand. So you just be just using this to take back to play, keeping your searchers like in your hand, so you're constantly, like in the previous law, like you're just constantly netting, playing the Jewelry Bounty, then bouncing the Jewelry Bounty to your hand to play the 1-drop searcher, Monkey D. Luffy to search at the top to get another card to hand, then using Leader Skill to bounce that to get whatever's on top life out of life, then playing, like I say, the searcher back down to search again to get another card to the hand. It's just like you just don't run out of gas. You just have everything. Like it's just, how do you not have everything? You know what I mean? Like, you're just going to just generate so much advantage because you have this second wave of Shamblings. Again, because it's cost and it's not based off of board. That's why this card is so insane. Like I say, in Red Green Law, it wasn't that great because it didn't help you advance your board state. It just kind of left it the same, which didn't do anything. But in this deck, it does so much for you by getting your utility back to your hand and replaying more utility or something else. Or even just, like I say, bringing back a card that you just want to play down because you want to use the effect. And I guess that's what I was trying to get at with the Zoro. It's just like you could do a swap. Like, you could do a swap for the Zoro. So you could swing with the Zoro. If you had like a Caramel on board, you played the Law, you bounced the Caramel to play the Zoro, you swung with the Zoro, then you played Shambles to bounce the Zoro to play the Bonnie. Like I said, this is all nutty. If you have the Cavendish, you swap to search. If you have the ability to, or the Dawn too, because keep in mind this is like 7 Dawn, 8 Dawn. This is a lot of Dawn. Like, it's a late Dawn turn. You know what I mean? You would swap out for the Swapper, swap that out for another Zoro, so Zoro could swing another 5 to lead, which is just tempo and aggression, which is what you want, you know. And then, like I said, you'll have a Blocker Law, and there is a possibility that you could have like other characters and other things in play that you can use to just play off of the Shambles. Like I say, the point being is that the card is just good. Like, I could go over a trillion different examples as to how it just helps you advance your board state by being able to return your searchers to your hand preemptively. So like in like your black matchups, you can just, like I say, just keep cycling your Bonnie. So it's just like, yeah, you can keep popping my cards, but I'm just going to infinitely have Bonnie because I'm just going to keep using that to search, find what I need, put it into life, or whatever case may be, play another card, get me up to 5, bounce the Bonnie back, do the thing. Like I say, you just constantly have your searcher, and like I say, this just makes it so now I get to preemptively do that, play this, and like I say, if you play a 2 cost off of this, it's like a free 2 cost, or because like bouncing a 1 for, like I say, the Caramel is, like I say, that's obviously math, you know. It's a 2 for 1. And then, like I say, being able to play back down to Bonnie because you still have the 1 Dawn, that just means, you know, you're building your board up, you're getting your numbers up, you know what I'm saying, you're getting your bitches, you know what I mean. What we talking about, Tony? What we talking about? So super excited for the deck, can't wait. Gonna be doing much more test playing, like I say, once it actually comes out. I might get on the sim. I'm not a fan of the sim, which is why I don't get on the sim. I really dislike the sim. But, you know, like I said, I'll be doing some testing and whatnot, personally for myself, you know, to just kind of sort of see how I want to do this, because again, I just see all the nuttiness in this. I see all the potential in this. Oh my gosh. Well, okay, one more, guys. One more. Okay, one more because it's so crazy. So again, like you can just and so this is the crazy thing about cycling that goddamn Bonnie. Holy fucking shit. So anyway, you go Bonnie search, which is 2 Dawn, right? And let's say we only got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 Dawn. You know what I'm saying? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, we only got 7 Dawn. So crazy. You played the Bonnie, you searched the Bonnie, you swung with Cavendish. Oh my gosh, so I say it's better at 8 because you get the shamble, the preemptive shambles. Or you restood. Oh my god, yeah, so much better with the preemptive shambles. You restood. Off the Bonnie search, you got a restand. So you play the 7 drop law for 7, obviously. Then you get the restand out of life. You play the restand by bouncing this. You restand the Cavendish. You got another active 2 Dawn. So you don't play the searcher back down because, well, unless you just want the searcher down the board because you have another searcher in hand and you just want them to swing at it because, you know, you're debating them. You don't do that. But if you do have the small scratchman blockers, you can just tap 2 for those, and now you have this will be your board state because you restood the Cavendish swing, so the Cavendish should be rested. So you have the 2 Dawn back up to go ahead and play the 2 blockers, so that you know are the shambles to bounce one of the little cards that you had on the field for said blocker. Like I said, if you want, you could just shambles the Cavendish back to, or the restand back to hand, but you wouldn't really want to do that. You want to attack with him first, so you probably bounce, like I said, smaller back to the hand. You probably replay. Like I said, you can make it a Jory Bonnie and search again just to add a card to your hand. Like you just do a lot. You just do a lot. Like it's just good. It's good. But yeah, that's all for me. It's actually all for me. This is the outro, which are still horrible, by the way. Someday. Stay on, not today. I'm missing